What is up, everybody? The History Guy here, and I am excited about this one. Strategic Command World War I. Today is release day, December 5th. The game just came out this morning. It's not yet available on Steam, at least as of me recording this video. It was not, though I would expect it would be at some point today. But over on matrixgames.com, it is available, so I went ahead and downloaded it. It's $39.99. I'm not cool enough to get a free copy or to have gotten it ahead of time. Some of you may have already seen this from some other YouTubers, but this is my first time loading up the game, and we're ready to dive in and just take a look. This is kind of a first look. We'll get into the first couple of turns maybe of a campaign, and then let's just talk about the game. And we'll talk a little bit about the history of World War I as well. So 3 different start opportunities. You can start with Call to Arms, which is the historical beginning start date, August 1st. Triple Alliance is the same, but Italy enters on the side of the Central Powers, which did not happen historically. There was hope that it would by the Central Powers, but it did not. And then Fate of Nations, this would be if you want to jump in when the U.S. is starting to enter the war. So we're going to go with the historical start time, and we'll go ahead and start this campaign. And let's see. I typically, when I play a game like this, like to take the side who lost, just because I like to try and change what happened historically. So we'll go with the Central Powers. We're not going to give any bonuses, but we are going to go ahead and fight on intermediate, so I'll probably lose. My first time playing as the historical losing side. We've got, these are the basic options. We've also got advanced options as far as what we can do. I'm just going to keep everything as is for now, just so we can dive right into the game. So let's talk real quick about what led up to this point, August 1st. Most of you are probably at least a little bit familiar with the events leading up to World War I, and this is a really quick kind of overview of that. It certainly was much more complex than this, but bottom line is there were a lot of things leading up to these events that unfolded in the summer of 1914, but the immediate event that most people point to, of course, is the assassination of the heir to the Austro-Hungarian throne, Archduke Franz Ferdinand, who was the nephew of the emperor. And he and his wife, I think her name was Sophie, were assassinated by a man named Gavrilo Princip. There were actually a number of assassins. One of them had thrown a bomb at the car. The Archduke was unhurt by that, went and visited somebody who was hurt in the hospital, and then very unwisely went back out in his car, and they ended up getting caught in a spot where they had to back up, and they happened to be right in front of Gavrilo Princip, this teenager with a gun, who shoots and kills both the Archduke and his wife. After that, the Austro-Hungarians, who are allied with the Germans, issue this list of impossible to meet demands on the Serbian government, who probably did have a role in the assassination. Serbia is allied with the Russians, who say we've got your back, and so this whole kind of mess gets built up, and it ends up in war. You have the politics of it, where you've got in places like Germany, Austria-Hungary, Russia, you've got the military leaders versus the political leaders fighting for very different things. The military are saying we've got to build up, and once we build up, there's no going back. We've got to go to war. And you've got the political leaders trying to keep that from happening. You've got interpersonal relations where you've got the Kaiser Wilhelm of Germany, who is a cousin of Nicholas II of Russia. He's also a cousin to Nicholas's wife. The King of England, George V, of England, the Tsarina of Russia, and the Kaiser of Germany are all grandchildren of Queen Victoria. So you've got all of these different things going on behind the scenes, this undercurrent of all this stuff. But eventually it leads to war. Austria-Hungary declares war on Serbia. Russia declares war on Austria-Hungary. Germany jumps in on the side of Austria-Hungary, and now you've got the start of a world war. Meanwhile, with that, and we'll talk about this as we get into it, you have the Schlieffen Plan, which is the German plan for a quick victory. And that involves quickly taking out France in the west so that they can then send their armies east to deal with the Russians, who they feel will take much longer to mobilize. Well, they were wrong. And the other problem with that plan was that it involved, rather than attacking France directly, it involved going through Belgium. And by attacking neutral Belgium, that brought the British into the war. and then it was just a mess after that. So that's kind of the quick 3-minute overview of what we're dealing with. Most of our army is now mobilized, but some units remain to be deployed. Some options of deploying these are deploy them to strike hard in the west, strengthen your forces in the east, deploy them in the south, and send them to take part in the conquest of Serbia. Choose wisely because it's the most important decision you will have to make in the coming conflict. Okay, I feel like I've got a lot of Western forces, and I feel like the Austro-Hungarians are going to not do much for me in the east. So honestly, my gut tells me to go east with all of these forces to prepare in dealing with the Russians. So I think that's what I'm going to do with all of them. Well, I may send a few down this way as well. Cavalry Corps. Let's go there. We're going to send some of this infantry down here to help with... well, it looks like we're going to be stuck outside of Austria-Hungary to start. So, right there. Okay. Central Powers deployment phase complete. So then what's next? Our immediate priorities, this is for the Austro-Hungarians. A successful advance into Serbia, seizing Belgrade and Niš, will encourage Bulgaria to enter the war on our side. We must also hold our eastern frontier, for Russian advances may entice Romania into entering the war against us. Romania is also an important food source. So war with that country could lead to hunger and low morale at home, which was a big concern for the Central Powers. And we must advance into Serbia while also holding our eastern frontier as securely as possible. Yeah, here we go. This is what I talked about earlier. Violating the neutrality of Belgium, the Netherlands, or Denmark will automatically bring the British into the war. Sending any naval units, including submarines, anywhere near the British coast into the North Sea or the Atlantic would also provoke them. So we can only keep them neutral for the first month. I'd like to keep them neutral longer than that. Imperial Germany's war economy relies on goods imported from the neutral Netherlands. It's therefore vital that we keep the Dutch friendly to us, using diplomacy if necessary, as it is solely due to her friendly neutral status that she can import goods that will otherwise be deprived to us. If the Netherlands were to enter the war on either side or swing towards favoring the Entente, then we would lose these vital imports and the people could face food shortages, which was a big reason why Germany eventually settled for peace in 1918. So that's a huge thing. So it's not just about the military. It's about supply. It's about all these other things. So let's take a look at the interface real quick. So we've got war maps, which kind of shows the overview for each of the countries. And we can look at information as far as their capital city and town, their ports, oil, mines, fortresses. They are 75% toward joining the Entente. So Netherlands, etc. They're 25% toward the Central Powers, so we want to keep that way. Strategy map kind of shows where all the military forces are currently. Convoy map looks like this is where we can choose like Canadian supply shipments to the UK, etc., etc. Purchase. So this is where we can buy new units. We've got headquarters, detachments, corps, and you see all the different options as far as names for those units, and you can see the available things. I feel like at least early on, production shows what we're going to be receiving automatically and when. I feel like early on, I'd probably rather spend the points in reinforcing existing units than producing new ones. Diplomacy, this is where we can invest points, which we don't currently have. We get those at every turn in swaying the different nations in one direction or the other. Research is going to be huge. It looks like we've already got points going into artillery weapons, airship development, and industrial technology. And you can click on each one of those to see what they do. Mobilization for war and the transformation of economies to a war footing took time, and this research category represents majors mobilizing their resources to support the war effort with a net effect of increasing the per-turn collection. So that's a long-term investment in the money that I receive. So each one of these kind of shows what you get, what kind of bonuses you get for that. And then reports. Those are just kind of statistical information showing the size of our forces. Obviously, the British have the largest navy. We've got the second largest. This shows us points by capital cities and towns, mines, oil, etc., for each of the various nations. So there's a lot of information available, a lot of different graphs that we can look at to kind of see how things are going. But let's go ahead and then all these interfaces here just show things like the grid units. You can, make the units disappear so you can see what is underneath them. Supply. So it looks like we're in good supply right now, but obviously that would change as we advance further. And you can see how the supply reduces as we get further along. Upgradable units, reinforceable units, upgrade tool, reinforce tool, sleep tool. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a turn here. Now, I want to be careful because I don't know what will happen by advancing into his zones of control. This seems like it's a good place to kind of hang tight, but we're going to go ahead and take Luxembourg. And we'll advance slowly. We'll let him kind of come to us as far as the attacking goes, but... Alright, we're going to go ahead and advance toward the French. Enemy contact, which means he's probably going to shoot at me. Ouch! Dang, are you kidding me? I lost 5 and he lost nothing? Wow. So maybe advancing into his zone of control isn't the best idea. Alright, I think I will take situations where it's even. I feel like that's probably good news. If I'm attacking him along this front without having to go through Belgium and I'm dealing with even odds, that feels like a win for me. So these are our headquarters here, Prince Ruprecht. Nice. So there's an objective right there in Verdun. Yeah, nothing to be gained by attacking there. So we'll just kind of push this front along, and then what I'll do is, as I'm able to, I will drop units back off the front line after the next turn and bring up fresh ones. So we're kind of constantly keeping fresh units along the front as much as I'm able to do that. All right, now this is going to be a different animal altogether. So what I'd like to do, if possible here, is can I advance my navy down? Got a dreadnought here. And try to block this access to the Adriatic so that these guys can't get supplies. I don't know if it's that simple or if there's more involved with doing that, but we're going to find out. I'm actually going to sneak this submarine over here. Oh, enemy contact. Okay. So there is a French Navy down here. Okay. Looks like maybe we can advance. Oh, he's got units there. Ouch. Nope. Nope, not going to attack if it's going to cost me more men than he's going to lose. Man, I just don't have... The Austro-Hungarians are just so weak. And they're the ones that started this whole mess. So mainly I just want to hold against the Russians as much as possible in the east. Eventually, they're going to have their own political issues to deal with. So if I can just kind of hang on against them, that'll feel like a win. The Austro-Hungarians just don't have the power to be able to stand up against the Russian army. So the main thing I want to do is just make sure I'm occupying my strong points. and then get a nice defensive line right here. All right, I'm a little worried about Memel. I think I'm probably going to have to give that up unless I can... Well, we might be able to advance up here and hold the line. You see, he still might be able to isolate him, although if he moves into my zone of control. All right. I think I'll sit tight with the German Navy for now until I figure out what I want to do with them. That seems like probably all I can do. What is this? The Marines. Okay. We're just going to keep them right where they are for now. All right. So let's go ahead and end the turn and see what happens. Luxembourg surrenders. Big surprise. I took their one and only territory, and we plundered some points. Commander of the High Seas Fleet. We've got a battle cruiser that they want to give to the Constantinople to serve the Ottoman Navy, or rather, she sailed to Pola to serve alongside the Austro-Hungarians. Yeah, we'll send it to Austro-Hungary. I think the Ottomans didn't last very long in this war. They didn't do particularly well. The Ottoman Empire by this point was vastly on the decline, and they just really didn't aid the Central Power cause all that much. Chancellor Conrad von Hertzendorf. The 4th and 7th Corps of our 2nd Army are currently en route to Novi Sad and Temesburg near the Serbian border, where they deployed to take part in the invasion of Serbia. Deploying them there may leave us with insufficient forces facing the Russians. Well, I did send a lot of my other units to face Russia. So we're going to send them down to help with the Serbians. So we want to try and knock Serbia out. All right, so we do have new units mobilizing on both sides. Man, I'm really worried about the Russians. I just want to hold against them. But I've got to worry about diplomacy too. So I've got to definitely focus on that. 366 points for the Germans, 238 for the Austro-Hungarians, 17 for the Ottomans. See why I say the Ottomans are basically worthless? All right, here come the Russians up here. Oh, yeah, see, the French are trying to enter the Adriatic. Oh, wow, wow, wow. Yikes. He just completely sank one of my ships. And then he disappeared. And this Navy's not going to hold up against that forever. So each turn looks like it's a week. We're on to August 8th now. The Germans did have a lot of success very early on in the Western Front. Just didn't last. Yeah, here they come. This is what I was worried about. I feel like if they destroy this guy, they're going to cut me off in Memel. Ouch. We're going to lose that unit. Ooh. Wise, he's focusing everything on one unit to try and destroy him so I can't reinforce him. Yeah, see, this is what I'm afraid of. There's just so many places to try and hold in the east. Austro-Hungarians are just getting lit up right now. Can't do this all myself, Germany says. But largely has to do it herself. His self, I guess it's the fatherland. Wow. Austro-Hungarian forces just melting away in the east. Germans doing much better. There's a lot happening. And then I'm sure there'll be a lot to decide as far as how to spend my points when the turn comes up. Definitely want to try and take Serbia if I can, though. Historically, that didn't go so well for the Austro-Hungarians either. And that was the whole point of this war in the first place. Here come the French. No, they're just reinforcing their units right now. Okay, is that it? Arrival of thousands of refugees from Galicia spreads fear throughout Austria-Hungary. Loss of grain from Galicia leads to hunger in Austria-Hungary. Russian morale is boosted by the capture of Galician oil fields. UK seizes the Ottoman dreadnought Sultan Osman I. Ottomans are outraged at the British seizure of the Sultan Osman I. New units arriving. Desperately needed. Alright, so we did lose a pre-dreadnought sunk. That really stinks. We had 2 units destroyed. Bunch of other things happening. Aiding Austria-Hungary without the assistance of our Austria-Hungarian ally could struggle to achieve decisive victories against Serbia. Yeah. Go to war maps, then convoy map. We need to send aid to Austria-Hungary. Yeah, I don't know about that. Chief of the General Staff, Helmuth von Moltke. Given our weakness in East Prussia, we could greatly strengthen our position there by bringing Paul von Hindenburg out of retirement. Yes, that's what actually happened. To assist him, Erich Ludendorff can serve as his chief of staff. I feel like, if I remember right, those two did not necessarily get along great. So it'll cost us 200 points at 50 per turn for 4 turns. Yes, let's do that. There's General Hindenburg. Chancellor von Hötzendorf. Refugees to prevent any further impact to our national morale. Invest in caring for the refugees. Okay, yeah, let's do it. Okay, so Germany's got 394 points to spend. First things first, we need to look at diplomacy. What's the situation with the UK? They're at 78%. We need to keep them out of the war as long as possible. The Ottomans are on our side. We've got to look at the Netherlands. We're still good there. They're at 25%. We want to keep that there. And it looks like there's not really any investment happening to change that. Looks like Sweden's 20% on our side. That's pretty good. Portugal. So nobody else is really kind of on the verge anywhere. Canada and Egypt, of course, are all in. So I think we will probably refrain from spending any points on diplomacy for the time being. Research. I feel like infantry weapons would probably be a nice place to invest some research. So let's go ahead and do that. But otherwise, probably not going to do a whole lot at the moment. I want to primarily focus on reinforcements at the moment. So the Königsberg detachment could definitely use some reinforcements. That's actually not all that expensive either. But we're losing experience by doing that, so I've got to be careful about how much I put in. I just don't want to lose those units altogether, so anything I can do to reinforce. To keep these units strong, I'm going to do. Oh, that one's a little more expensive. Must be a more powerful unit. boy. I want to try and hold Lemberg, but he's just got... Look at how many units he's got here. There's no way I can hold against that. Just no way. Nice. So the nice thing is I can attack and then I can still kind of go back to spending those points later if I need to. Beautiful. Beautiful. Take that, Russians. I'm sure he's got units up in here. Yep. Ouch. How close do I need to be to use artillery? I could get in behind him here. Nice. Oh, beautiful. Let's finish that guy off. Okay. Nothing else to do there. And I'm still just really worried about the Austro-Hungarian forces up here. I don't even have anybody really to defend down here. A whole lot, anyway. Okay. I'm going to send more forces that way. Alright, this is a unit we're going to reinforce. I don't think... Yeah, I would guess we probably can't reinforce after we've attacked. Yeah, it makes sense. Alright, let's see where we're at here. We're going to keep them right where they are. I'm a little worried about this whole naval issue here. So we've got a pre-dreadnought here and a dreadnought right here. I need to try and find that French ship. Where did he go? Because I'd really like to attack him. I guess it's not happening. Alright, on to the Western Front. This is obviously a unit that needs to get out of Dodge. Bye-bye. We're going to move the third... we can't move the Bavarian Corps up there. So we'll move this unit. Wow. So this is the strategy. We move these units out, come in with somebody else, and then we can reinforce these units on the next turn. Get them back up to strength, and then they can do the same thing. Just kind of keep rotating. I'm not going to attack there. Anywhere on the Western Front where I can get even odds, I'm going to take it. All right, is there anybody else we can... No, I didn't want to do... Oh my gosh, that was a I did not want to do that. All right, we're going to have to send the cavalry down there, and they're going to get lit up. Still learning the controls here a little bit. All right, what do we got? We got 195 points left. I don't think I can reinforce any of these units because they've already done stuff on this turn. So we might just kind of hang on to those points for the time being. Same with the, maybe with Austria-Hungary I might want to purchase some new units. There we go. Okay. I think that's it. We'll go ahead and go one more week, and then I think we'll probably wrap this up, because it does take a lot, even to do a single week on this game. All right. Baron Conrad von Wagenheim, our ambassador to the Ottoman Empire, reports from Constantinople the Ottoman Empire army is not ready for war and large sums of money will be needed. No, I'm not just going to pour money into this black hole that we call the Ottoman army. So no, I'll pass on that. The Polish Supreme National Committee is offering their services in our fight against Russia. Polish volunteers would cost 30 MPPs a turn for 2 turns. Yeah, let's do that. So now all the mobilization continues. We'll see a bunch more new units entering the fray. Siberian and Turkmenistan units arrive. The Gerben arrives at Pola in the Adriatic. That's nice. German mobilization continues. Wow, that's a lot of new units. That's why I wasn't too worried about sending those other ones east, because I'm going to need all I can out here. Oh, thank goodness. I desperately needed more units out there, but of course the Russians are going to get them too. Ugh, that one appeared right in front of me. Oh, I forgot to send Austria-Hungary money. Maybe I did that on purpose. This is really going to come down to Germany having to hold her own anyway. Ugh. Serbians reinforced. Ouch. Oh, so far he hasn't cut me off in Memel. My daughter's in 9th grade. She's learning about World War I right now, so she and I have had a lot to talk about. Okay. We've got the French Navy showing up on our shores. It's pretty gutsy. melting away of the Austro-Hungarian army continues. See, I'd like to just pull back maybe, but then there's the hit to morale for losing territory. So it's a double-edged sword. Oh, we just lost a German force. Serbian counterattack. Oh, we got a big bulge in our line we've got to plug. So what I'll do is I'll go ahead and take my next turn, and then we'll stop before we advance it at the end of this. See if the Germans or the British are any closer to joining the war. I'm kind of curious to see if that percentage has gone up. It was at 78% last turn. More units. Everybody should still be in supply. We lost 2 more corps. The Entente's naval blockade of Germany. The enemy may launch a naval blockade to stop neutral shipping. This was a big issue for the Germans and one of the reasons that led them not to be able to continue the fight in 1918. So we've got to deal with a potential blockade at some point, but not there right now. All right, first things first. There's this French ship I want to deal with, and I've got a pre-dreadnought here that we can bring out to deal with it. Ooh, not such a good idea. Oh, I was hoping to finish him off. Might still be able to. Let's bring the Helgoland dreadnought out here to finish them off. Bye-bye. So we got some bonus for that. Now let's look at the situation down here on the Western Front. Not a good idea. So we're going to pull them out, bring this one up. Same thing. Now here's where we kind of do this to rotate things. Now we pull them back, we bring these guys up, do the same. Just keep hitting them. So close. Nowhere to go now. So we've got 542 or 486 now. Let's look at diplomacy real quick. All right, the British are continuing toward war. If we spend 150, we can invest in trying to change that. Only a 5% chance of success. Oh, so really that may not even do anything. So we may be just kind of spending money to try and put off the inevitable here. Bye-bye. Well, that didn't do anything. All right, not much else I can do there right now. Oh, come on. There we go. Oh, there's a Russian unit there. Darn it. I just moved a headquarters into that spot. Not the wisest thing I've ever done. All right, let's get this guy reinforced. Same here. Nice. I've got to hold memo as best I can. Oh, beautiful. All right, not a lot else we can do there. I think we're pretty well done. So we're going to wrap it up right there. Let me know your thoughts. I know there's so much I need to learn about this game and how it works, what I need to do, what I need to worry about. Are there things that I should be kind of keeping in the back of my mind? Are there things I need to do better, things I need to prepare for? If you've seen anybody else playing this game, you might be aware of those things. So drop a comment. Just let me know what you think. We'll come back probably tomorrow with another episode. Play this for a few days since it's brand new. And we'll see you again soon. Thanks for watching.